Hey there, it's James here with a market update video for you. It's August 11th, just after 7:30 a.m. my time, and I'm going to take a quick look at Bitcoin today. We're also going to take a quick look at Litecoin, and I'm going to show you a really cool pattern that I'm watching and hoping plays out. I do have some shorts open, so that's just full disclosure. I am bear biased, so remember that when watching this video. So first things first, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. This is a 4-hour chart. And of course, we had that nasty dump yesterday. That was about a $500 or $600 dump in 10 minutes. And since then, we've really just been consolidating sideways. Now, I believe this is a bear flag. I still believe that 10.8 is the target in play. 10.8 was the breakout target from our symmetrical triangle. It's also the breakdown target if this is indeed a bear flag. So on this 4-hour chart, what I'm looking at is this RSI. This RSI tells me more of a story than the price does. The price is just simply moving sideways. It doesn't give me a lot of clues as to what's coming next. One thing I will say is this candle here, I'm not a fan of this long tail because those long tails typically signal a reversal or a pivot. You can see right here is a perfect example. It came down, long tail, pivoted, and went back up. Right here, long wick. You know, it actually did come up and fill the wick and then pivoted and went down. So this doesn't make me super excited as a bear. This does concern me a bit that maybe we are going to pivot and try to go back in and fill up some of this volume gap that we created with this dump. But as long as we're under this 4-hour trend line on RSI, I'm going to feel fairly safe and I'll keep my shorts open. If we break through this, I probably will close the shorts and I probably will wait and see if I can find a better entry a little bit higher, maybe up around the neckline of the M around 11,685. By the way, if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I say neckline, this is a textbook double top. An easy way to pick out double tops is they look like the letter M from the alphabet, and basically what you're looking for is to confirm a double top. You want to break the low point in the middle. In this case, that would be right around 11,652. That's called the neck. All right, that is the neckline of the double top. Once you break through that, a lot of traders will actually have orders sitting right on that neckline, just below it. And basically what they'll do is they'll put in a short there, looking to ride a dump, and then if it bounces back up, they'll have a stop loss just above that neckline. So that's the reason you see a huge cascading effect in a candle like this, is because once that's broke, bots and stop losses and stop buys, all that kind of stuff, well, not stop buys, but stop losses, stop shorts, right, all that kind of stuff kicks in and starts, crushing the price. That's why we had such a massive amount of volume pop up in this 4-hour candle. Then we went back to manual trading where people are buying and selling, and so the volume actually decreased. So what I'm watching for on this rally, let's go over to a 1-hour chart, and I'm actually going to get rid of all the lines, so it's very easy to see this. Let's get rid of RSI, let's get rid of volume. Okay. What I'm watching for is I'm watching for a pattern to play out called the Wyckoff pattern. All right. Now this is actually published over on Twitter by a guy. You can see his trading view name up here is RNBO10, but over on Twitter, his name is Crypto Warrior. Here you go. And I actually was talking to this guy yesterday or the day before. I don't recall when it was now. I believe it was the day before. It was before this dump, right? We were both talking about how this looked very possible. This is basically a lot like the 3 peaks in a dumped house, but on a much smaller time frame. And if you look at the time, price, well, I guess it was right after the dump. Sorry. No, it wasn't. I was talking to this guy before the dump. Okay, so he posted this right here, right, before we even had the M. And you can see the pattern was supposed to go up, retest 12K, and then dump. And if you look, exactly what happened. It went up, it formed, it tested, it failed, and it dumped. It formed that M. See that? So now, if the pattern plays out the way it's supposed to, we're supposed to get a rally, a low volume rally, up to this neckline of this M, right, which is right around 11.5. And then it's supposed to have a dump phase where it goes down to, probably 10.3 would be my guess before we bounce, maybe 10.8 and bounce. 10.3 is actually an important level. It's the Fibonacci level. It's also monthly support. Okay, but watch this. So this was the first pick, right? Played out. It did go up, and then it did come down. And then the second pick was predicting that it would go up and hit this neckline. And if you look at our hourly chart, look at this. Here's the neckline, right? Oh, I gotta turn my things back on. Okay, well the neckline is right here. You can see the crosshairs, right? If you just follow this over, see where it's at? See where price at? It literally just tagged that neckline. So that pattern is still playing out, literally textbook pattern, playing out perfectly. It does not mean that we can't go higher. It doesn't mean you can't bust through and run that pattern. But right now it's looking really, really good. And that's the reason my shorts are still open. Whether it does or not, time will tell. But this is, here's the Wyckoff logic here. And you can see again, it looks just like the 3 peaks in a dome house. You basically had consolidation, the pump up, consolidation, and then a dump. The difference is on a bigger time frame, I still believe we're in this part way over here, okay, where we haven't yet dumped or consolidated. But on the smaller time frame, this looks awesome. This looks incredible to me. I'm not going to go out and zoom out on the big time frames because nothing has changed. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. If you're not sure where I stand on that, if you haven't seen my past videos, you can check it out on TradingView. All you gotta do is click on the link down below. You can find all my ideas. You click this little minus pattern. No idea why this isn't working. My 3 peaks in a pattern stuff is gone. Try that again. Weird. I've never seen that happen before. All the lines that I drew for the pattern are gone. I've never seen that happen. Well, anyway, I guess you can't go see it. I'm sorry. They've ruined it. Let me just pull it up on Twitter for you real quick. Okay, so this is actually the pattern. 3 peaks in a domed house. Again, I personally believe we're over in this area right around number 7. I believe we're getting ready to go down to number 8, but time will tell. All right, let's jump over and take a look at Litecoin real quick. So Litecoin, wow, Litecoin had an amazing day yesterday. It actually did drop down to around 82 bucks. Slid under just ever so slightly, a few cents under 82, and then it said enough is enough, and it just went absolutely bonkers. And since that low, Litecoin is currently up about 7.5%. It actually peaked right around 8%. Now, I'm not a buyer of Litecoin at these levels. I still have an open short on Litecoin that I've had open since, you know, right around the $127 mark. Still not a buyer, still not ready to close that position. Just full disclosure. So again, I'm short, but on an intraday basis or an intra-week basis, this looks pretty good to me. There's actually a head and shoulders. It's kind of a sloppy head and shoulders, but I do believe it's a valid head and shoulders over here. And if that thing plays out, it's going to have a price target right up around $91 or $92. And this blue line that you're looking at is actually an important level. Watch this. That blue line was actually weekly resistance right here and right here from back in April. So that's what that is. So, you know, again, like I talk about in all my videos, when I'm looking at patterns and things, I ask myself, would that breakout target make sense? And in the case of Litecoin, this breakout target from this head and shoulders pattern will put it right around weekly resistance. So I could definitely see that happening. And if we look at a 4-hour chart, I mean, look, RSI is actually trending upward. So this thing is actually in an uptrend, right? At least on a 4-hour time frame. Now on the larger time frame, it's obviously in a downtrend. But on the intraday time frames, it looks really strong. If we look at an hourly chart, we are tiptoeing up into the close to the overbought territory. But again, doesn't mean a whole lot in an uptrend. You can get into overbought territory and stay there for several hours or even several days without much issue. If we look at a daily chart, again, RSI has lots and lots of room to grow. So I like Litecoin. I'm not going to trade it, and I'll tell you why I'm not going to trade it, because Litecoin overreacts to Bitcoin. Okay, it just totally overreacts. Now, when we're in an uptrend, that's a good thing, right? Because instead of taking a Bitcoin trade where I can make 1 or 2%, I can often jump into a Litecoin trade and make 3 or 4%, right? When Bitcoin moves up a little bit, Litecoin just overreacts and goes up even further. But in the case of where we're at right now, if Bitcoin suddenly starts to go down, Litecoin can overreact to that as well. So if I'm in a Bitcoin trade where Bitcoin suddenly drops 1 or 2%, Litecoin might decide to drop 5%. And it happens very, very quickly with Litecoin. Look at this. I mean, obviously this happened quickly with Bitcoin at the same level too, but this was a huge drop. That was about 4%. So that was pretty close to Bitcoin. But there are other cases where, you know, it dropped. Many cases, I'm not going to go back and point them all out, but there are many cases where this thing drops, you know, 2, 3, 4%, and Bitcoin's moving sideways, right? Or Bitcoin moves down 0.5%, and suddenly Litecoin drops 1.5%. Again, those overreactions make it a very volatile asset that's very, very lucrative for day traders. I just think right now, for me personally, for my risk appetite, I don't want to risk that, right? It is up near the overbought territory on RSI, and there is some very slight bearish divergence sitting there. So, you know, not a fan of trading it, but I will be watching it just because I like watching to see how these patterns play out. So if you're a Litecoin fan, that's very bullish. That's an inverse head and shoulders. That's a very bullish thing, and it lines up with the weekly resistance. So I could definitely see this thing going up $3 or $4 today. All right, so jumping back over to Bitcoin, I think that's pretty much everything for today. I don't want to make this a 20-minute video beating a dead horse with the exact same thing I've been saying. We'll just wait and see how this thing plays out. Again, 10.8 is the target from the breakout triangle. 10.3 is monthly support. And one other thing I will show you real quickly, 10.3 also happens to be the 61.8 fib of this entire move right down here, $10,329. So very important level to keep an eye on. 10.8 is another very important level to keep an eye on. And of course, this level up in here is a very important level to keep an eye on. All right, so we've got resistance, support, support. Now, if we break through these, we're probably going to go down and make a new low on the daily time frame. Okay, but I don't think it's going to happen today. I don't think it's going to happen, you know, in a sudden, violent fashion where this suddenly just drops 20%. I think it would be, you know, just another staircase pattern, a typical downtrend, and we'd work our way back down if that comes to play. All right. Please remember, I am literally some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. I'm not a financial advisor, not your financial advisor. Nothing in this video is financial advice. You should always do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice before making any type of investment. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, don't forget, you can check the description for links to follow me on Twitter, TradingView, and also to join my free Facebook group. This is James. Trade safe.